You keep running harder every single day, but somehow your heart still feels exhausted. More plans, more goals, more pressure. Yet deep inside, something still feels empty. You look at everyone else succeeding and quietly wonder why life feels heavier for you. So you push yourself even harder, thinking struggle must be the answer. But eventually you stop and ask yourself, why am I trying this hard just to feel okay? Then Jesus says something simple in John 15. A branch cannot bear fruit by itself. A broken branch can try harder all day, but effort alone cannot give it life, because the secret was never pressure. The secret was connection. Maybe your soul was never designed to survive by force. Maybe it was designed to stay connected to something greater, and that changes everything, because peace begins when striving finally ends. Every morning starts the same way. Wake up, push harder, keep going. You tell yourself that if you work enough, maybe one day you'll finally feel complete. So you smile around people even when your mind feels completely exhausted. And at night, the silence becomes impossible to ignore. That's why Jesus never said, try harder. He said, remain in me, because a branch stays alive naturally when connected to the vine. It doesn't force itself to grow. Most people carry pressure they were never meant to carry, and slowly it crushes them inside. But peace starts the moment you stop fighting for your worth and start resting in God's presence. You were never abandoned. You were just disconnected. And maybe that's why your soul feels tired. Not because you are weak, but because you've been carrying life alone. Most people spend their entire lives chasing approval, always trying to become enough. But the harder they run, the emptier they quietly become, because comparison creates pressure, and pressure slowly steals peace. But Jesus described life differently in John 15. He described it like a living connection. Fruit grows naturally on a healthy branch, not through panic and not through force. And maybe that's what your soul has been missing. Not more effort, but deeper connection. You don't have to prove your worth every second. You can finally put the pressure down, because God never wanted a relationship built on fear. He wanted closeness, and slowly your heart begins to breathe again. Not because life became perfect, but because you stopped carrying it alone. This is the secret of John 15. Real growth happens when you stay connected to the source of life. Some nights, your mind refuses to rest, even when your body is completely exhausted. So you search for another solution, another method, another way to fix yourself. But no matter how hard you try, peace keeps slipping through your hands. Then Jesus gives a completely different answer. Remain in me, not perform for me, not impress me, just remain. Because roots grow quietly beneath the surface long before anyone sees the fruit. And maybe your healing is happening the same way, slowly, deeply, quietly. Sometimes growth looks less like achieving, more and more like finally learning to rest. The pressure begins to disappear when you realize something powerful. God never asked you to carry your entire life alone. And for the first time in a long time, your soul finally starts feeling safe again. Eventually, every person reaches a crossroads. Keep forcing life, or finally let go. One path is filled with pressure and endless striving, everyone rushing and everyone exhausted. But Jesus offers another path entirely, one built on connection instead of fear. And the hardest part is not working harder. The hardest part is learning to release control, because trust feels uncomfortable at first, especially after carrying everything alone for so long. But healthy things grow naturally when they stay connected. That's how God designed life. You were never meant to survive under constant pressure. Your soul cannot flourish there. Real peace begins quietly, in small moments of rest and connection. And slowly the fruit begins to appear. Not forced, not fake, just natural growth. Because when you stay connected to God, you stop fighting life alone. Sometimes the deepest exhaustion isn't physical, it's emotional. After enough failures and disappointments, your heart quietly starts expecting more pain. So you build pressure around yourself, hoping control will protect you from being hurt again. But Jesus never walked away from broken branches. He restored them, because disconnected things can heal again. That's the beauty of grace. And maybe this changes the way you see yourself. You are not too damaged for God. The weight you carried for years begins to break apart, little by little. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because your soul finally found connection again. And naturally, peace begins growing where fear once lived. This is what Jesus meant in John 15. Stay connected, and life slowly returns. The world teaches you to constantly hurry, to always do more, become more, and prove more. And eventually, everyone becomes emotionally exhausted, even if they hide it well. But something changes when you finally slow down. You begin hearing your soul again. Jesus never promised a life without storms. He promised connection through them. Because connected branches survive storms differently. They are supported by something stronger than themselves. That's why healthy roots matter more than perfect appearances, especially during difficult seasons. And slowly, you realize peace is not the absence of chaos. It's remaining grounded while chaos exists around you. Then something beautiful begins happening. The peace inside you starts helping other people too. Real growth always spreads naturally, just like healthy vines. And maybe for the first time, you no longer feel like you have to fight for your worth.
One day you realize something quietly powerful. You don't feel as heavy anymore. Not long ago, your life felt like constant survival, always rushing and always carrying pressure. But now something inside you has changed. You no longer feel the need to force everything. Because Jesus never taught desperate striving. He taught connection. And naturally, your life begins producing different fruit. More peace, more patience, and more clarity. Then you start helping others who feel exhausted too, because you finally understand their pain, and slowly healing spreads from one life into another. Just like healthy branches connected together, you still have difficult days sometimes, but now you no longer face them alone. The vine keeps growing quietly in the background, even when you cannot immediately see it. And this is the hidden beauty of John 15. Real life begins when you stop trying to carry everything by yourself. Eventually, storms still come into your life, but now they don't destroy you the same way, because disconnected things break under pressure, but connected things remain rooted. Healthy roots create stability long before storms arrive, and that is why connection matters so deeply. Jesus never promised constant comfort. He promised to remain with you through every season. Suddenly, peace stops depending on circumstances and begins growing from somewhere deeper. The storm slowly passes, but the roots that held you remain. Now you realize something powerful. Strength is not pretending to be unbreakable. Real strength is staying connected even during difficult seasons. That is what keeps your soul alive. After every storm, healthy branches grow even stronger, because the secret of John 15 was never about trying harder. It was always about staying connected. Life still moves forward, but now your soul moves differently. You remember the person you used to be, always exhausted and always trying to prove something. Peace began the moment you stopped forcing growth and started staying connected instead. That was the heart of Jesus' message in John 15. Remain in me. Fruit appears naturally on connected branches. Real growth is never forced. Eventually, the peace inside you begins healing other people too, because connection spreads life. One healthy branch strengthens the entire vine, and that is how healing quietly grows in the world. You still face difficult moments sometimes, but now you know where your strength comes from. Deep roots create lasting peace even when nobody else can see them. So stop trying so hard to carry life alone. Stay connected to the true source of life and let your soul breathe again. Now you finally understand something most people miss. Peace was never supposed to come from pressure. For years you believed exhaustion meant progress, but deep down, your soul was starving for connection. Slowly, God began healing you from the inside out. Just like roots quietly strengthen beneath the surface, Jesus never asked branches to force fruit. He simply asked them to remain connected. Healthy things naturally grow over time, without panic and without fear. Once your heart experiences real peace, you begin sharing it with others naturally. That is how healing spreads. One connected life at a time. You still pray and you still struggle sometimes, but now your soul finally knows where safety is found. The deepest growth often happens invisibly, far below the surface, where roots hold everything together. Maybe today Jesus is reminding you of something simple. You do not have to carry life alone anymore. Maybe this entire time you were never supposed to carry life by yourself. The pressure, the fear, and the endless striving slowly disconnected you from peace. Everything began changing the moment you stopped forcing growth and started remaining connected instead. That was always the message of John 15. Remain in me. Fruit grows naturally on connected branches because real transformation is never forced. Once your soul experiences real peace, you begin helping others breathe again too. That is how healing spreads through the world, one connected life at a time. You still face challenges sometimes, but now you know you are no longer alone. The strongest roots are often invisible, yet they are the reason the vine stays alive. So stop trying so hard. Stay connected to Jesus and let your soul finally rest. If this message speaks to your heart today, remember it. You don't have to carry life alone. Stay connected to Jesus and let Him carry what you never had to carry alone. And if this video encouraged you, subscribe for more simple messages that bring peace, hope, and strength. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.